Hello, and welcome to the Harrington Group International's conversation about what all quality professionals must know about CFOs. I appreciate you joining today. This subject was discussed a lot when I was chairman of the local ASQ section. The members were getting frustrated that their project couldn't get funded. And it's around that subject, I hope you find it useful. Just a quick housekeeping. Uh, we've got great attendance today. We even have some finance accounting people attending, which is good to see. But the phones are muted. We would like to answer questions at the end, so please use the question block on your screen. You can download a copy of the presentation during this event. If you have any problems with that, just reach out to me and I'll send it off to you, and a certificate of attendance will be provided. So again, this whole subject came about. My quality projects never get funded. And I think there's three things we got to understand about this. Quality professionals need to understand the financial terms and approaches. And financial people need to understand the quality terms and approaches. And everyone needs to learn how to significantly just work on things which you have control. And again, I know the frustration. You know, my project never gets funded. I know it will save money. I know it can be done. But the other thing that's really important is just to stay focused, specific, and take on things that you can impact. And when I say impact, you personally, not someone else. So are we that different? I don't think so. If you look at finance and the regulations and standards and compliance issues and the quality people, they're kind of the same. I mean, we both like documentation. We both like training. We both do audits. They do financial audits. We do quality audits. They talk about risk management. We talk about controls, although that probably could be changed to risk management as well. And just continuing that thought process, finance likes numbers. Quality people like numbers. Again, process and audits are similar. This is where it starts to split a little bit, and this is really the important part. You know, the finance accounting folks talk about cash, profits, ROI. We use terms like parts per million, corrective actions, CPK. So that's where the disconnect starts a little bit. But the ability for quality professionals to stand up and look at the reports that finance generates and raise your hands and say, I can explain why that happened. This is critical. It makes us position the organization where this particular return on assets decreased, but we don't know why. You know, this happened, we don't know why. And financial statements are, again, just talking about what happened in the past. Now, where some of the challenges come that in talking with a lot of people on this is they talk about the quality cost model, and there's nothing wrong with that. But here's my advice: don't go through a detailed cost of quality educational session with them. They don't really need to understand that. What we do need to do is to look at failure costs, and hopefully that's being captured in the ERP because we had to notify that production part status and labor costs and all that. But the idea is let's just focus on what data they already have. And the majority of that is failure costs, which is fine. There's another area that gets immediate attention is that when you put in supplier portals that create debit memos. We'll save that for another subject. So the disconnect is finance has been consumed with generally accepted accounting practices, audited financial statements, all for external reporting. And the ops guys, they're not really happy with those financial reports, and I don't think it's their ability to understand. I don't think it's necessarily finance's ability to provide information. We're just looking at different things for different reasons. And a while back, the term Management accounting was created to try to address this subject, to try to look at how can we coordinate these things and bring them together. So management accounting is basically information for the internal business, not the external financial reports. You know, those external financial reports are like the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow statement, all good, all needed, but it's not necessarily going to connect with what made those numbers go up and down. And great gains can be made by quality professionals and accounting working together. So when you look at it, we're trying to understand how these go together, and how does it impact engineering? I'm talking about management reporting now. Engineering groups, manufacturing groups, purchasing groups, supply chain groups. I had a great experience a while back when I was working with the CFOs of a major aerospace company, and their particular frustration was, or not frustration, what the accounting people wanted to do was to improve return on assets earned. And what I tried to help them walk through, and I'm going to show you how we did that, was a cause and effect analysis that says, well, what makes return on assets earned go up or down? And the message that I was trying to give to the CFOs is that until people understand the cause and effect between the metric you're looking at and what makes it go up and down, we're not really making a lot of headway. So just using, just a simple cause and effect example, I'll just talk about increasing profit on new products. Yeah, again, you don't have to use the fishbone format, but I have found it useful. But just start a conversation with the finance and accounting people on how to increase profits on new products, and engage engineering and the various people. So if this kind of makes sense, then the idea is, well, what kind of information can quality bring to management that they would find helpful? Well, here's just a couple examples. If we wanted to increase profit on new products, one of the things we may look at is the number of engineering changes by product stage. How many did we do on design? How many did we do on prototype, pre-production, and production? And I think we can, just looking at this example data, we believe program A is more profitable because we solved most of the problems in design. Now, just to step back a minute. The number of engineering changes is not in the accounting system. So this is where we need to start figuring out how are we going to get the data connected and bring it together. But another example, process capability by product stage. Now remember, they're not going to necessarily know what CPK is, and I don't know if they really need to know what it is. But a statement like, we believe program B is more profitable because the process is more capable. This kind of cause and effect conversations bring the financial accounting into management accounting. Well, one more example, supplier changes. Again, look at this. Did we add new suppliers? Did we drop existing suppliers? Did we use the same suppliers? Well, again, we can look at this and say, well, we believe program A is more profitable because we stayed with proven suppliers. Now, again, this is where it gets interesting when we bring in purchasing, supply chain, and the various people in these conversations. Is, well, the argument will come up. Well, yeah, we switched a lot of suppliers, but we got a better price. Well, did you? Now, again, this is connecting. Well, if you do this, this can happen. If you do this, this can happen, and bringing it together. So, like the return on asset earned story. And how people get frustrated when they don't reach a goal that was set out by finance and accounting. Again, if they don't know what makes the number go up and down, the probability of them being able to reach the goal is pretty low. So, improve profits, increase customer satisfaction, reduce nonconformance, again, failure costs that they have, market share. I mean, pick any subject. In fact, here's the best way to pick it. if your company has published any type of goals for 2022 or 5-year plan or whatever, take whatever those are and use that as a subject to go through and have a conversation. So that was trying to connect what quality professionals have that can help get management reporting and connected with business goals. But here's the other thing that I know frustrates people, but this is reality. The biggest issue is most companies have a lot of projects to consider. Some are a higher priority and they get the money. So if you understand that you're not the only project looking for money and that you have limited money to invest, how do you decide which project to fund? Well, this is where quality professionals need to learn a little bit more about accounting groups. The language of accounting to justify investments is return on investment, net present value, internal rate of return, payback period. This is what they use, and we need to understand those. I'm not in this event. I'm not going to try to go through and explain all those, but I want you to understand that we've got to be able to get these in a way to do that. So, things to consider. Stop by the CFO or the VP of Finance or the Director of Accounting, whoever within your particular facility, and talk to them about it. Again, pick one of the business goals and talk about getting a group together to be able to have a conversation with what makes these numbers go up and down. Now, the challenge is, I added these images in right before this event when I was looking at the attendees. I think we've got a mix of people that are still on binders and paper. I definitely know we got a bunch of spreadsheet people out there. Some of you may have an enterprise quality management system, which makes a lot of this easier. But the challenge also is how do we, let me put it this way. Let's say you're trying to justify enterprise quality management system. You want to move to a relational system. This is an area where, again, you can go to the finance people, say, I'm looking about spending X amount of dollars. I believe it can reduce failure costs by this percent, which would give you this type of ROI. But don't do it solo. Have them help you do that. The first time I ever did this was a long time ago, and I was doing a capital appropriation request for computerizing an MRB system in an aerospace company. I was very young at the time, never even knew what a capital appropriation. So I went to accounting and asked them, said, how do you do this? I don't know how to fill this out. I don't know how to put it together. The reason I'm sharing this story with you is when it came time for review and approval, because everybody, questions the ROI and the numbers and how'd you get them. Having the accounting person in the room with me that helped me do the analysis and the calculations was unbelievably powerful. When it came to that, I turned to the individual and said, well, he helped me with this. Do you have any questions or concerns about it? They said, no, his numbers are good to go. So just taking that step can make it very, very helpful in getting your projects funded. A little bit about Harrington Group. Harrington Group is focused on these short-term operational improvements with long-term financial results between a blend of our software and services. We've been in business for over 30 years with over 45,000 customers that are using the software to drive this product quality and lower costs that we're discussing. Again, that's where it came up a lot. So we do have some time for questions. Again, if you have them, please put them in the question block. It looks like, this one comes up a lot. It says, what if accounting does not want to talk to me? You need to find out why. I think too often people go right into, it's a personality issue. They don't like me, or, it's usually not. It's usually availability and priority. And, oh, by the way, this will turn them off. is, again, if you go in and start lecturing about a cost of quality and prevention and appraisal and failure, all these, you're going to turn them off. But if you walk in and say, hey, I'm trying to do this and I need your help with the ROI, I have found it, I found it very helpful. Does Harrington offer consulting service to hold workshops on this? The answer is yes. And I mentioned the one where I was with aerospace CFOs. Yes, if you need help with this, please reach out to us. You have the phone number and the sales at hgint.com on the screen. There's one more in here that's interesting. I think accounting should understand the total cost of quality subject. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just trying to give you advice from my experience that when you go in trying to teach them a new way to do accounting, it doesn't go well. If you walk in and say, I need help understanding the failure costs of, whatever data they have, and you'll find out when you start talking to them, the conversation goes much faster and it's much easier. And I'm not saying long term that they may become articulate on prevention and appraisal and all that. That's fine. But my experience has shown, don't start with that. Another question about the presentation. Again, yes, you can download it right now from the screen. If you're having problems with that, I'd be happy to email it to you. Okay. Well, thank you so much for attending. Appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions or would like to learn more, you can call us at 800 ISO 9000 or email us at sales@hgint.com. Thank you.